The sheer hatred for this government keeps growing. By now, it's the labor unions that are simply up in arms against the €1,000 increase and the new health insurance rules. And even Die Welt suddenly praises a report by Alice Weidel and presents it directly as if she is right with every word she says. For those who don't know, I'll summarize it again very briefly. If you'd like to support this channel, I would be incredibly happy about a like and a subscription so you always stay up to date with the news.
This crisis meeting, which we just mentioned of the Black-Red Coalition last weekend in Berlin at Villa Borsig, almost failed. Because, according to participants cited by Der Spiegel, the differences were much greater than the public previously knew.
Among other things, May 1st was supposed to be abolished as a public holiday.
There are €2 billion for Sudan. There are several billion for Ukraine as well. But now savings will have to be made in the health insurance system because families are being kicked out of family insurance plans. Children are being kicked out of family insurance plans in order to set even higher contribution rates. On the other hand, companies are supposed to give €1,000. That's commendable. To employees, even though we're experiencing the biggest wave of insolvencies in Germany that we've ever had. And that's exactly what we're going to look into today. Because, and I really have to quote some economic experts here, what's happening here is just completely unreasonable. Because this government is arguing non-stop, now we have to pay the price.
The German Civil Servants Association is also requesting the new crisis bonus from the federal government. If the federal government is holding companies accountable here, then the state as an employer must set a good example. It also has to be clear that this is an additional payment.
80% of all companies in Germany have announced that they cannot pay the €1,000. And they should start using their heads in Berlin. And it's really urgent that if they come up with relief measures, then it should really be the case that they actually provide relief. And not the employers who are still here who really worry about their existence every single day. And they fight while this government does nothing but waste money excessively on climate projects and abroad. And now we've just received information from Brussels that we also have to save energy because we're running out of energy. We have about 15 days worth of gasoline left, which is being supplied to the market from our own reserves. And after that, we'll also have to switch to energy saving mode. That is very, very important, and yet we are still supposed to pay the €1,000 to the employees. That would cause maximum resentment in the economy if a few people get it and many others don't.
And on the other hand, the Social Democrats are said to have blocked progress on income tax and healthcare reform. Only because it was clear to everyone that they couldn't continue without a signal of unity did they finally pull together in the end, according to participants.
I also reported on it pretty quickly, and I immediately said that I had information I couldn't share, that there was extreme tension there. And this coalition is really already at its limit with what it can even do. And now they're just letting the economy crash. And now there are even large companies that are simply confirming that this government is not only incapable of acting, but that with minimal effort it is causing maximum damage to the economy. And the latest polls, well, they just confirm exactly the problem we have here in Germany. And Carsten Maschmeyer has commented on this in very specific terms.
At the same time, I just find it outrageous when the Ministry of Finance writes, "We are providing relief," and then leaves this relief up to the employers.
So, and the skilled trades associations here in Germany, they speak a completely different language because they are, of course, much smaller and have significantly less purchasing power. But they always roughly reflect what is actually landing with ordinary people here in Germany right now. Yes, I really have to put it that way. And when the craftsman no longer goes to prostitutes, this system goes downhill. Who said that again? I can't remember the title right now, the name.
Today, a company owner called me, 25 employees who said, I'm struggling with price increases from the industry, with delivery difficulties, with price jumps that I can hardly absorb.
And now he's supposed to pay all employees 1,000 euros so that inflation can be fought, so that they can even afford to get to work. While the employee doesn't even have enough money anymore. The employee who now naturally fears, especially if he has a family at home, that he has to do something. Here too I can already say this, and I really refer to leading experts, including Markus Krall. Here too, the unemployed here in Germany, even the German unemployed, will increase drastically because of this law. Because it is even less attractive for families to go to work. For those who are tied to home ownership, the situation is a bit different, but for many who rent, they will be asking themselves at the beginning of the year, why am I even going to work anymore? If I can get so much more social welfare instead.
I'm supposed to give my employees an extra 1,000 euros each. 25 employees, that's 25,000 euros. I don't know where I'm supposed to get that from.
So, and what do you think will happen if, let's say, Harry and Uwe are sitting over beers at the soccer club and one of them says, wow, I got my 1,000 euro payment that went really fast. That really has to be gone by the end of the year. It has to be paid out. And Uwe sits there and says, well, I didn't get anything, but honestly, I have to say it like this. My child's medication has become twice as expensive. Now I have to pay 15 euros per package. I have to pay 15 euros every time I pick up medication, and at the same time my wife is now also no longer covered under the family health insurance plan. Honestly, we really don't know how we're supposed to make ends meet anymore. This is a picture of unity here in Germany, but it's also an image that is highly explosive. I really have to say it like this. This could put even more pressure on this system here because fewer and fewer people actually want to deal with it. And what happens then? Where do people turn? What will people vote for when they realize that this government is incapable? And now listen to the statement from Die Welt and let it sink in for a moment.
And then there's this lady, and this time she really hits the nail on the head.
Statements like that from Die Welt, come on, you really have to process that first. Because everything else I've heard is always, yeah, right wing, far right, very dangerous, terrible for this economy. Suddenly they say this woman hits the nail on the head. And if even Die Welt is reporting this, then you should damn well listen closely to what she actually said.
A tax and levy-free relief bonus that is shifted entirely onto the private sector. The number of corporate bankruptcies reached its highest level in more than 20 years in the first quarter of 2026. Those are some numbers, and now they're adding these costs too. I have no words for that.
Oh, I definitely have something to say about that. In fact, we're now looking at Australia, not Europe anymore, but Australia. People are taking to the streets there now too, and they're joining in with, let me just list them again real quick, the Irish, the Scots, the French, the Poles. By the way, Poland did something pretty wild, which I'll show you in a moment. I'll just have to put a smiley over it. Shortly after, YouTube prohibits that in the YouTube guidelines. It was an Israeli flag with a Chinese sun symbol, which was also used by the Nazis on their flag back then. And they once again expressed their discontent that the economy in Poland is also going downhill right now. We're coming back directly to Germany with the next clip.
But the public sector has also spoken up. It could be that the civil servants might get this small bonus from the state, which we also have to pay for, or maybe the public sector will do the same.
Yes, and then suddenly there's money for that again. So if you're a civil servant in Germany, you're really lucky. Of course, not all civil servants, and there are some pay grades that are really poorly paid. But politicians, of course, will get their money once again, while all Germans are left behind. And if I may briefly remind you of the new election polls, the AfD is now 2% ahead of all the other parties, and the CDU is now in steep decline. And I think they've earned it. Feel free to write your opinion below. Is this maybe the sign we need here? Because at some point the floodgates will burst, just like there was another trial against Corrective yesterday. And by now, from the one, say, 2.0 conference or whatever else they came up with, there's nothing left of it. And by now, yeah. I really have to say that even the courts just laughed when it was said yesterday, yes, but they wanted to deport German pensioners from Germany from this secret meeting. Yesterday, the judge actually said, now this is going too far. And that's exactly what this federal government is doing as well. They have gone too far. The people themselves are now standing up.